risers, welcome to this update video of Whimsy the Mustang, her progress on her training. So here I'm showing you guys a little bit of just brushing her around, being in the indoor arena and moving down her legs and just helping her to get more comfortable with things that are going on. A lot of her taming had been in the barn or outside up until this point, just trying to make sure that she was really good for getting treated for the wound that's on her side. And then coming into the arena has become a little bit more of a priority, getting her being led around and just getting more comfortable. And then picking up her legs, touching her legs she had gotten really good with in the barn. And then sometimes when you're in a different space, it's a little bit more emotional for them. And so here you can see she's drifting away from me a little bit. So this is something that we're working on, just getting her to be okay with her legs being touched. And you're going to see by the end of the video that I show you a different session, and she's already made really great progress on that. And the hope is to be able to get these legs getting picked up really comfortably so that way she can get ready to have her feet trimmed, because that's definitely a priority, is making sure that they can be handled by others. But first off, I got to get her really trusting of me, just being able to touch her legs and not even think about picking the legs up. Just think about, is it okay that I touch you on your legs? I know that can be a little scary. You can see she's doing really well there. She's having a little lick and chew thinking about that. And then as I go to change sides there, you can see she had that little bit of a startle, like oh, now you're out of my left eye. And the reasons why horses do that is they don't have the same connection between their right-left brain that humans do. So when they see you out of a different eye, it is kind of like seeing you completely fresh, like a new image, and it doesn't necessarily register as being the same as what it was on the other side. So you do have to tame both sides of a horse's body, or train both sides of a horse's body equally, and can't just assume that because you do something on one side of their body that you can do the other side. So it's important to do both. Now, of course, doing something on one side does usually help a little bit for the other side, but it definitely doesn't make it as easy or simple as you might think it is. So I have to literally go through all the steps, rubbing down her leg, and you can see I'm just trying to do little lifts there, seeing if I can get her to be comfortable with that. And I'm running my hand down, and she's just moving away a little bit, so she's kind of saying that this is a little overwhelming. And you can see I don't have her tied up at all. I just have my rope there that I either had loose, or now I'm picking up her rope to make sure that she doesn't step on her rope or get too worried there. And I'm just rubbing and following her, and there's no type of, you're bad, you're not doing this right, I need to yank on you, or have some type of consequence. It's just trying to have a positive attitude, following her to say, like, it's okay, I'm just going to touch a little bit and just see if I can make a little bit of a progress. And I want to try to leave it on a note where she's not moving away from me so much. I want to make sure that we've gotten to a place where I can touch that leg and she's not feeling the need to completely run away. So I'm just kind of saying, you can do it, let me try again, and just rubbing. You can see I'm rubbing a little higher up, and then I'm kind of slowly making my way down, and there she let me touch the whole leg all the way down. So I just repeat that there. I get my tiny little baby lift, and she didn't move all the way away, so that's great progress. I'm giving her little scratches up top again. This is a totally different training session now, so I'm going to show you leading her around the arena a little bit. She's made a fair bit of progress. Even the person filming there walked behind her bum, and although she hesitated and was like, oh no, where are they going? She didn't scoot forward or anything. And then here, going over the poles, you can see she's doing really well with that. And then I started to work on just building up her confidence in general. So here I'm going to turn her around and ask her to back between some things. And this is a great way to just help horses realize that they can trust their bodies, that they can trust their humans, and that they can just be more confident in general about things being behind them. It can help make them be a little less spooky and things like that. So here I am just backing her through the little area, and you can see I've got stuff around my arena, like I've got the pedestal with some flowers, and I've got the mounting block and some poles, and so it's great to have these different visual shapes. And then I also practice doing things out of both eyes. So I backed up the one direction, and now that we've turned and we're going now what would be the other direction, so she's looking at different things out of that right eye versus the left eye. She said that was a little challenging, and she's doing a little bit of those head tosses and kind of saying this is hard. And so my job when I'm working with her is really to kind of say, you can do it, you're going to be okay, and just be really polite and patient with her. And then when she's done moving through, like there you can see I give her a little bit of rubs, give her a little bit of time, and then I'm going to ask her to go forwards through the objects to kind of say like, see, look, like it's okay, you're all right, and allow her to stop again, and then try that again, because she said that it was really hard. So then it's like, okay, well, now that you did it and you came through, let's try it again, see if it's a little easier for you. So I like to repeat a task until they get to a place where they feel more relaxed about it. I want them to know that it's okay and they're confident. I don't want to keep escalating the situation to get to a point where they're ready to explode, because it's like, okay, we did this, now we're doing that, now we're doing this, and now we're doing A and B and C and D and E, and now I'm ready to explode. So instead it's like, okay, well, let's, repeat. And they don't have to get perfection. They just need to be a little bit more relaxed and understanding of what's going on. Here, doing the little bit of a weave. So we went from backing up between things to now just walking through things, trying to change it up a little bit, getting a little bit easier with some of the stuff that I'm doing. And she's not getting cookies yet in this video. So that's a big thing, is trying to get her to a place where she can get cookies. But they have to learn to like cookies first, which is a little bit tricky with Mustangs because they're not always trusting of the smell and taste of funny looking foods. But once she can see other horses eating them, that will definitely help. And here you can see she struggled a little bit with going in between the poles. And so I do some gentle nudging on the rope to suggest that she follows me. And one of the keys here is that I'm not trapping her inside of the poles. I'm just asking her to follow me, walk through. And it's so important for horses to learn to follow the feel of that rope, because even if they accidentally step on their rope or they get their halter caught on something, you want them to understand to follow the feel and not be panicked or worried or upset about that. It's going to really help them to just learn how to navigate that human world a little bit with that halter on, because that's how we're going to guide them through different situations. But also accidents can happen, and I want to make sure that she doesn't panic and run away from that. Instead learns to just give to that feel a little bit. It's going to be really helpful. It's like there she gets a little bit sticky again to go over the poles. So I'm going to ask her to go over the poles, and you can see she gets a little sticky. And so I just am patient and wait and look at her. There's no big aggressive pulling or yanking. There's no spanking, nothing like that, because I don't want to add emotion to the situation. What I want to do is get the horse in a place where she's just thinking, okay, like we're just following. I'm not going to get trapped over top of these poles. I can freely think my way through it. Like you can see, she gets a really loose rope. She can put her head down, look at them. And then here I'm just going back to repeat them again. And I'm going to say like, okay, like, can we try doing this again? And she resists a little bit. She's like, I'm not sure if I want to do that again. So I just stay patient and nudge a little bit. And she comes along and walks over really nicely there. And so I'm going to stop and just like praise her a little bit, make sure she knows that that's really good. And I'm not looking for perfection, because if you get really too precise before they're ready, then they just think there's no right answer. There's no right answer. I can't possibly do what you want me to do. And they can give up. So I want a little bit more relaxation and understanding. And then it's, let's move on and try something else. So it's that really fine balance of, repeat a little bit, but not too much that you upset your horse, and move on a little bit, but not too much that, again, you upset your horse. And it comes a little bit with just practice to learn what your horse is able to do and when they need you to stop and give them a break or have some reward. So here, what I'm showing you guys is a little bit of just the practice of rubbing down her body and doing these different turns. Like here, I'm asking her to do these pivots on purpose, where I'm asking her to move her hips a little bit, and I'm getting her to cross her back legs before I rub and tell her that she did a great job, because rubbing her tells her that, thank you, you did a great job. And also the crossing of the back legs or crossing of the front legs just helps to get her in a place where she's using her body a little bit more and starting to use her brain to think a little bit more and not be quite so reactive, and in that more fight or flight frame of mind. So doing those little bit of crossing steps helps to just get that real thinking going across, which is really fantastic. And then I'll show you guys a little bit of her sideways progress as well. So it's a little wiggly. It's a little bit of a progress of we move the front feet, we move the back feet. And this is just such a handy way that if your horse isn't really understanding sideways, if you break it into this front feet, back feet, front feet, back feet, that helps them piece it together and be able to get those actual sideways steps going. So here you can see as we started to get close to the wall, I just turn her and then I continue on with getting a couple of these little sideways-ish steps. Call them sideways-ish steps because they're not perfect, but just making that progress. And she's doing a great job of moving out of my space and yet not being super terrified about that, which is all fantastic progress. And you can see I'm switching around now, moving the other side. And she started with a little hesitation there, so I just rub her a little bit first, make sure I reassure her that I'm friendly. And then this shows you her feet pick up. So you saw the first clip, and then now this is a different session, the progress being made on picking up her feet. So you can see I get a little pickup. And when I'm progressing with picking up the feet, I do these little tiny pickups. So I'm barely picking up for any length of time at all. It's just a positive experience of I lift, and then that's it. That's all we have to do. So that way the horse gets to start to build up this non-anxious way of doing things. Like there you can see she actually picked up her foot. So I'm going to rub and move to the other side. And so she just picks up the foot and then gently puts it back down. I move on. And then again, that's helping her realize, oh, okay, like it's okay. And then we move on. So there you can see she picked up her little foot and moved a little bit, but for the most part stayed in place. I'm okay with that. And then here, rubbing her, she started to move a little bit. So I just go back to rubbing her body a little bit. And then I'll try to get down that leg, get a nice little lift. And then there can be some nice little praise in there. And then I just finished by touching her leg just to make sure that she was really calm about that. And that puts us on a good pathway to get ready for the farrier. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's all about getting those handling skills in a trusting, safe way.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.